Well, joining me now, as he does each week from Washington, D.C., is former White House Chief of Staff and Senior Advisor at Bondi Partners, my good friend Mick Mulvaney. Mick, thanks for coming on the U.S. Report this week. Now, before we get into the other top news of the story, some breaking news in the last few hours that the confirmation vote on Kash Patel has been delayed by a week. What's going on? Is this procedural? Is this part of a bigger Democrat pushback at the Trump efforts? Break it down for us, Mick.
Yeah, it looks like it is procedural. It looks like it is just part of the larger Democrat effort to delay. The Democrats are really upset about Elon Musk and DOGE. Actually, I'm not sure how upset they really are. They have really good polling that says Elon Musk is unpopular, so they're trying to draw as much attention to him as they possibly can. As I sit here and talk to you right now, we're going through the final votes on Russ Vought for the OMB director. We expect him to be confirmed by tomorrow, but you could expect this delay now for just about everybody going forward. Importantly, James, the Democrats cannot stop any of the negotiations. They can just stretch them out to where you can only do one every 30 hours.
Right. Okay. And so with Kash Patel, what's your call? Is he still going to get over the line once that vote finally comes to the floor?
I think he did. Kash had a really, really good series of hearings, comported himself very, very well, was very sharp on the topics, and I think made a lot of converts. Look, I don't know Kash that well. I was a little bit of a critic with him going into it because of some of the conspiracy theories, but the guy put on just a tremendous show, James, during the confirmation hearings. He's clearly sharp, clearly has his head around the issues here, and he'll make a really good FBI director, I think. So I think a lot of Republicans see it that way. He should sail. That then gets us down to Tulsi Gabbard and RFK, which are a little bit more up in the air.
I agree. Those two are dicey, but Kash Patel really impressed. Now, I got to say, though, with this DOGE stuff, I have been absolutely amazed by the breakneck velocity with which Elon Musk and his team of programmers and experts have been getting into the system. And as I discussed at the top of the show, the amount of graft and waste and bizarre things that money is going to, well, it's been amazing to see them tear it all up, but it's also been amazing to see where American taxpayer dollars have been going. What do you make of it?
It's just an onslaught, James. It's everything that Republicans have feared for generations, that we were using taxpayer money to sort of push the progressive liberal agenda everywhere, overseas, domestically. You know, there's money coming out now that news coming out now they were funneling money to newspapers and magazines in this country to keep them afloat. It's really, really bad stuff, and it's coming at a breakneck speed. These are things that we tried to get at. Russ Vought and I tried to get at this when we were at the OMB, and the career staff always told us, oh, you can't get that information. You can't get that information. Give Elon Musk credit. He went around that. He cut through all of that pushback and now is finding the receipts. I expect this, James, to go on for a long time. If you think your mind has been blown so far, buckle up because you're going to see a lot more of this in the weeks to come.
Well, and I think, Mick, you've made the suggestion in The Hill that the reaction of the left to this exposure of all of the secrets here really proves that they're onto something.
Yeah, they really don't like the fact that the curtain is being pulled back right now. They thought these things were secret. They thought they would go on forever. I mean, James, we're hearing about, payments to individuals, payments to campaigns for Democrats. Add to that the stuff that's happening overseas where we're tying State Department money, foreign aid to making countries change their laws on gay marriage and abortion. It's almost colonial in nature. It's so elitist in nature. It's really horrible stuff. But again, many Republicans thought that it was there. Now they're finally finding that it actually is the case. You're looking at the beginning of a wholesale sort of restructuring of what the federal government is like, and in large part it's because of what DOGE has been able to do since they've been here in the Trump administration.
Now, you mentioned what's going on overseas, and of course, the other big story this week is the big proposal around the Gaza Strip and suggestions the U.S. might take over or own Gaza or do something with Gaza. Now, there's been an awful lot of controversy around this, but Mick, nothing that we've done for decades about Gaza and this conflict has worked. I kind of feel like Trump deserves some credit for thinking outside of the square on this.
Yeah, James, I got asked, was this a negotiating tool or was it a way to sort of throw out a new idea? And it's sort of all of the above. Look, the place has been a difficult place for a long, long time, and it's just going to be more difficult going forward. I had dinner last night with some folks from the U.S. military here, and they expect that it could take between 5 and 10 years just to clear the area of the unexploded ordnance. Think about that for a second. Before you could even begin to think about rebuilding in a safe fashion, 5 to 10 years of removing all the bombs and explosives that are still lying on the ground in Gaza. This is a monstrous undertaking that we're looking at. So look, did Donald Trump probably get ahead of himself a little bit? Yeah, he spoke to the Senate here yesterday, and I think the Senate sort of reeled him back in a little bit, making it very clear that there was no support here in our government for any dollars going to Gaza or any soldiers going to Gaza. So we are going to continue to look at the options, give Donald Trump credit for at least throwing one out there, but I don't think anybody knows what Gaza looks like for the next decades to come.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is something that I want to ask you about, too, because an awful lot of MAGA supporters of Trump, they said, no more stupid wars. That's what we're getting out of here. And the potential here for this sort of, well, call it what you want. Some people will say imperialism. That has a lot of dirty connotations these days. But, that sort of boots on the ground thing, we saw how that worked in Iraq. I just feel like there's a lot of risk here, Mick.
There is. Listen, the one thing, I thought a lot of Republicans agreed on was that we don't do nation building very well. And that's sort of what Trump rolled out. So, yeah, look, there's a lot of Republicans. I was one of them, sort of reeled back and said, I'm sorry, did he just say we're going into Gaza for the next 15 or 20 years? Again, I don't think there's going to be a lot of support for that. I think he recognizes that. Look, Donald Trump sometimes free thinks, and he'll float trial balloons. And I think that's probably what this was. Honestly, I think it was anybody. It was probably Jared Kushner's ideas behind the scenes that you saw sort of filtering up to the surface. He had tremendous success when it came to the Abraham Accords. I'm not sure the same approach sort of looks and works in Gaza, given the extent of the devastation there. But at the end of the day, James, look, nobody's got a silver bullet on what to do about Gaza. If we did, we would have shot that bullet a long time ago.
Absolutely right, Mick. Thank you so much for your time, as always.